1, 2, 3. That looked weird.
Whatever.
Like very weird. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rooftop Podcast, episode something. I don't remember what episode we're at. It's been a fat effing minute since we've done a podcast at all. We recorded, not you and me, but me, Robert, and my neighbor.
Well, that'd be Robert, your neighbor, and I, if I was speaking from your perspective. But
anyway, we recorded an episode way back in January. Sorry, I had to fix my hat. Way back in January, and it just we're not gonna call people out, but it just didn't get uploaded by who it had to be uploaded by, and so I had to. It's my fault. I should have done it a while ago because I've had the footage too. Or they just told me they were gonna do it, but I had to upload it and edit it myself when I wasn't planning to, but I could have done it a while ago. Finally got it done. So this one would be the one after that one, which I don't know what episode this is, but we're back. Yeah, that was a kind of a jumble.
Little rough, rocky patch, but you know we're coming back strong.
Yeah. And we said we'd take it a lot more serious this year, but look.
Greatest comeback stories ever were, I don't remember all of the ones that were listed in Parks and Rec, but I remember Kim Kardashian and then there's us. So we're the greatest comeback story.
Hell yeah. So we're trying out some new equipment today. We got a nice 4K camcorder. I don't know if we'll upload it in 4K, but
it's going to be a pretty big upload size if we do that. So, I mean,
yeah.
we'll see what we can do.
We'll see. But we're coming at you with some fire today. We got a new format that I want to try out. Before the podcast was a little kind of like all over the place.
Really, yeah, it was really random, unorganized. So hopefully now it's a little more structured.
But yeah, so I mean, we're just trying new things out, seeing what works. So we'll try it out, new structure today, new equipment. But before we start, Greg, was there anything you'd like to update people on, or?
Man, a lot has happened. I had my first kid recently. I tried weed for the first time. I went to a party for the first time.
You gave weed to your first kid for the first time?
I gave weed to my first kid for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. I don't have any kids, and I don't do weed, and I don't go to parties. But I did do something pretty cool. I ended up giving my dog a bath. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, not much has happened. So we need to
picking up where we left off.
Yeah, and we need to be more consistent with this for sure. But Greg, topic today, what we're talking about, and it's because it's not really new news, because this has been in circulation for a while. People have talked about it, and I didn't really think we were going to talk about it because people have been knowing about it for a minute now, and but the thing is, today it got passed, which is, I believe it's called Article 17 in the European Union. Do you know what that is, or do you have an idea, or do I need to educate you?
Educate me, Brandon. Educate the viewers.
So basically, from what I understand, I was trying to pull up an article so I can have it right here, right now, with just like bullet points, so I'd be better educated on it. Well, not better educated, but like actually have something I can read off of no facts. But right now, I couldn't find one. I'm just going off my memory of what I listened to and have read. But basically, so you know how YouTube has like their copyright strikes, and like if you upload copyrighted content without a license, or they can strike your video down, and then you get banned or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So now it's changed, but before, at least in the European Union, it was like America, where they held the user who uploaded it accountable for that. So you know how like if you had 3 strikes for copyright claim, you'd be out. Like, you were the only one getting punished for it, right? Because you were the only one who did it. Well, now it's still like that in the U.S. Because we don't have any law against it yet. Who knows? Maybe after the European Union, we might. Hopefully not. But now that this Article 17 has passed, now in the European Union anyway, the platforms are held responsible.
Yeah. Like YouTube or Google or anybody that kind of shares any kind of mainstream information that's owned by someone else.
Oh, even Twitter.
Oh,
even Twitter. So if you upload even a copyrighted photo, now the person who holds copyright to that photo or anything, even music or just the littlest thing, has a legal recourse to go after Twitter and not just the user.
Hmm.
So
I know for a fact that I read up that it actually affected a lot of tech giants in the U.S. So Google, for one, how Brandon was saying that they can't really nobody can really upload anything that's copyrighted. I guess Google posts a lot of articles and stuff like that from other people that they don't give credit to. So now, because of this new copyright law, people can actually come and sue Google for that, or Google's going to be required to pay them for whatever material that's shared through their source, or not their sources, I guess their platform.
Now the really shitty thing about this law, which is why a lot of, not just the people, but a lot of the tech giants, the companies themselves are against this law, is because the companies are now held liable for the users, usage of the copyrighted properties. They have to filter that themselves now. Like, not that they didn't before, but on a different level. Like YouTube, say, because now in the U.S., the way it is, which is how it used to be in the European Union, was that the copyright holder would have to find the content and then contact YouTube to take down that content, right? And then if it persisted, I guess they could technically, if they wanted to, if the person made millions of dollars off of this YouTube video, they could have taken the user who uploaded it to court, right?
Yeah.
But now they can take YouTube to court over that. So what they're going to have to do is start filtering content. So basically, YouTube, instead of having not just YouTube, this really goes for all platforms.
Yeah, all platforms. Yeah.
But in the European Union anyway, now these companies are going to have to either create some monumental technology that can scan anything you upload before you post it to the internet to make sure it's not copyrighted, or to somehow make sure you have a license or the rights to upload that. So now they're basically filtering what you can put on the internet because they don't want to be sued.
Yeah.
So that means there's plenty of content that just could not, even exist in the European Union anymore because the companies don't want to be liable for that, for a lawsuit just because of their users. So not necessarily. Well, actually, it does affect more than just the European Union. I think it affects them most because, number one, it'll affect, for YouTube, which is, probably one of the best examples I would know about, is the content creators. A lot of gaming channels wouldn't be able to exist because technically they don't own the copyright
Fortnite,
to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then they can't upload that, and a lot of
Well, that would be just kind of a regional thing, though, because Google even filters things out based on your region or your country.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if half of your audience is overseas and you're living in America,
no, of course
you lost half of your viewership, and that's a lot of money out of your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. So you're right. Yeah.
So the thing is that all these people in tech giants are against it because it's not just gonna empower these copyright holders, because there's copyright holder trolls. Did you know about that?
I didn't know that.
To where people just buy old copyrights and then just go after people and take down their videos or take the money from whatever platform that they're making it on, and they just do that just to scare people and make money even though they didn't create it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just gonna I mean, it makes sense, but this would empower that kind of activity. Excuse me, but yeah, so basically, instead of you being able to upload whatever you want and have to, and you at least have the ability to put it up and then fight for yourself to keep it up. Say if you uploaded a reaction video and it's under fair use, right? You at least had I guess, I mean, I might be misinterpreting this, but at least you had a chance to upload it and defend yourself if it was under fair use, right? But now, since YouTube is held liable to them getting sued, the company itself, they're going to say, well, no, we can't defend every single person who gets a copyright claim against them. We can't take on all of this, so we just have to blanket ban all copyrighted content, no matter if it is fair use or not.
Yeah. Yeah, that pretty much sucks too, because I mean it really could blur the line between people who actually have the fair use, people who don't, because there's going to be times where people do pay for rights to use certain things.
Yeah, you can
Like
license
Vivo,
something.
for instance. Vivo is something that they have to pay for the licensing. You can't just, Vivo can't just take that music, make a video for it, and then post it without, having that fair use, or without having some sort of agreement with the distributor, that, they're going to pay a certain amount, a certain royalty, and then they get to post that up because it's going to make both, parties money. I don't know. I feel like that's very unfair, just because it really is going to limit a lot of people. But I feel like a workaround could be that Google, as an entire organization, as an entire company, as an entire corporation, across all of their services, YouTube, Gmail, Google+, I feel like a workaround. Now, this is going to be very expensive, obviously, but in the end, it could make them, it could continue making them money. Instead of, losing all the revenue, just kind of allocating some more of their resources elsewhere. But they might just have to pay, like, almost like masses in loyalties and fair use contracts and stuff like that, because they're going to have to pay a lot of people off in order to keep some of the content.
Well, here's the thing. It's not that YouTube is making the videos.
Well, YouTube's not. That's what I mean, though.
But then why would there be a reason for them to buy a license for anything that...
What I'm saying is, because if an individual person themselves cannot necessarily be held accountable anymore for something like that, if it's Google as a whole, if Google just has the rights to things like that because they own YouTube, people can post whatever content they want on their platform.
But then you have to buy a right to everything, pretty much everything, dude.
I know, yeah, that would be more expensive. You're right.
And the only thing is, it's not just Google.
No, yeah, of course. It's Twitter. You're right. Facebook, everything, yeah.
Everything is held accountable.
So, yeah, I can see why all these tech giants are pretty upset about that, though.
And people, because it's going to limit their ability to
post pretty much anything, really.
Yeah, really.
Because you're right, there's like streamers like Tfue and Ninja. I mean, they can't really post a lot of Fortnite stuff without, technically getting permission from Epic Games or whoever.
Yeah, if Epic Games wanted, they'd be like, "No, that's our copyright. We own that game.
Yeah, we own it." But at the same time, I don't think they would do that, because Ninja and Tfue make them so much money.
No.
So I don't know.
But it is scary, because it will empower it will empower people to just, like, even if it is under fair use, if the video still gets uploaded, it'll be easier for a company to just go like, "Oh, we own that," and then just it'll immediately get shut down, because YouTube's like, well, the law here is so strict, we're not going to take a chance. We're just going to cut it down, and then, like I was saying, just maybe preemptively just ban certain content because they can't take that sort of risk.
Exactly.
So
it's pretty disappointing, but I mean, people are going to do what they feel like is correct. Like I don't know if we should even bring it up, but there was recently a attack, I guess, on the Christchurch in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And as kind of a reaction, which I mean I understand what they're doing. The Prime Minister announced that there was going to be a complete ban on any kind of assault weapon or firearm, and I mean I totally understand that, but at the same time, like, if you watch the video, man, I mean, and I hate bringing this up because of how controversial it is, but the guy really had no training. I mean, he was an amateur. I feel like if there was just one good person there that could have, helped out, I mean, that would have stopped him. And it's kind of this, I guess it's kind of not a trend per se, but it's just a similarity in that, you try to keep things away from people, and it kind of just inhibits our everyday lives in a way.
I think the argument for that is if you ban guns, even though, of course, the argument is criminals don't follow laws, it'll be much, much harder for you to get a gun on the black market, figure out how to do all that, to get an assault rifle.
It will be a lot more expensive.
There is some validity to that argument. There's validity on both sides. It's a very, very tricky kind of thing.
And that's not something we really want to get into right now, because we're more focused on the UN thing. I just kind of wanted to draw a comparison. But yeah, that whole situation is just crazy to me, because it's almost like you can't even go on Instagram and post memes anymore if you're from the UK.
Yeah, no, technically, if someone wanted to, just shut it down if they...
I mean, just think about it. A lot of memes use images from other, like, from movies and stuff like that, from
they're
TV
copyrighted
shows.
too.
So, like, if there was a meme, that had, like, Michael Scott in it or someone else from, like, The Office or something. In fact, I don't even know if we can say that now, because...
Yeah, it could even honestly be someone who's not even related to the copyright. They just don't like it, and they'll say, hey, take this down. I own the copyright. The company's like, they're getting bombarded with it. The law's so strict, they're like, I'm not even going to take a chance on defending who uploaded it. Like, it's gone.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. It's no questions asked. It's just, okay.
So it's pretty scary for what it implies.
It's pretty daunting
in the future. It gives corporations, even though it's something that's technically meant to empower, like, the people say it's meant to empower like small artists who like own copyrights and can't really defend themselves to take these things down when they keep getting spread because they're just one or maybe a few people creating content. It really mostly empowers the big corporations who have the money and like it is all about money, who just can just bully their way into scaring smaller people who are using it fairly, but they don't have the money to take fucking Disney to court.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people are like, it's the intent is like sort of nice, but they're going the wrong way about it.
Yeah, because I mean that's limiting. It's filtering out so much content. Like it could really cut almost half of the internet's content in half, if not even down more than that. I mean, they could cut it down 3/4.
Yeah. Hopefully, nothing like that passes in America, and if it does, hopefully it's way better
because then,
thought
like,
out.
where do you draw the line per se? Like, can an artist even upload their own music legally?
Yeah, but the thing is, you'd have to prove to the company that I created this. Someone to just literally be a hater and fucking
That's what
and
I
then
mean,
just
like an artist
your
that
artist
actually made that music.
Yeah,
like
and then the art, like someone who doesn't like the artist is like, oh, that's a piece of crap. So like, I created that, and then the company's like, well, the law's so strict here, I'm not gonna chance it. Took down your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really easy for it to be abused and people to bully each other. But I think one of the biggest problems, not only in the EU, but it definitely is a problem because it got passed in the EU. It makes it more obvious. But even in the United States, is that just so many people in our government are technically illiterate. They just don't understand the way the internet works. Like they don't understand the implications of like things that can affect.
Did you see the Mark Zuckerberg trial where he's trying to explain to like the senators and all that exactly like what's going on with Facebook, and after taking a web development boot camp, I'm like hearing some of the questions and I'm sitting there like, man, if that was me, I'd be sitting there staring at them like, dude, are you serious? Like, really? Like,
yeah, like it wasn't
like you're that slow when it comes to like.
And it was really dumb because a lot of questions, like, you could tell they didn't know what they were talking about because he's there over like, Facebook is like probably the worst platform. Like I have one, but I mean they probably have all the information they want on me anyway. So like I just keep it to. I don't know, honestly.
Dude, that's how they make their money by
they sell your
data. Data mining, yeah.
They
data mining
sell
is how
your
they make their
data,
money. They'll sell it.
and they'll they do some shady things. Like it's really ridiculous.
Well, and it's it can be shady, but for the most part, they're not selling it to like the Russian government or like some terrorist group. They're gonna sell it to like marketing firms, to like companies who are trying to sell new products.
There's a lot of, trust me, Greg. There's a lot of shady things like Cambridge Analytica that happened, and they're still doing it, dude. They like that app that basically let them spy on your phone for $20.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You remember that? And then they basically get to know all your information, whatever's happened on your phone, and of course, a bunch of kids signed up for it.
Yeah.
Not, oh, it's $20, and obviously Facebook is going to know that. And they said, oh, well, we had a button that said click if you're 18. That's really not, much verification.
Yeah,
so
it's really not. But
it really was taking advantage of children just to get $20 to get their information. They do some shady things, trust me.
yeah, that is pretty
Look
shady.
it up. Like, trust me.
Yeah,
They do some shady stuff. You need to look it up. Trust me. I watched this channel called Internet Today. Shout out Ricky and Elliot. They do really. I share their videos on Facebook sometimes. They're like the only channel like I think I've ever shared a video for, because they have like goofy ass thumbnails, like really goofy looking thumbnails, but like, and you think it's gonna be something stupid, but you click on the video and they're funny. But they tend to do a really good job of staying neutral on these subjects, looking at it from, I mean, they have their perspective on it, but they do a good job of just kind of telling you how it is, and then they'll give it like
just saying like 1,000 feet up. Yeah,
they'll give it their input, but they do a really good job. That's how I know about a lot of the shady things that Facebook does, and just in general. But yes, a lot of our congressmen and women are just really illiterate when it comes to the internet and just how those things work, and it's
I mean, because a lot of them are older, so the internet's kind of new to them.
It's a shame.
Yeah, and
they're gonna affect our future. Like, we're gonna have to go back and undo what they've done.
Yeah, probably at some point it is gonna come to that. I mean, it's kind of hard though too to really, I guess, kind of make that argument because even like with our Constitution, people say, oh, it doesn't apply to modern day, I guess, because our founding fathers weren't our
Mhm.
forefathers weren't exactly, sure of what technology would be nowadays or the internet and all that. But at the same time, like I feel like maybe my opinion is it should still apply. Our First
Mhm.
Amendment rights should apply to the internet. We should be able to have free speech on the internet. But I mean, if other countries, take action the way that they are, for example, the UN, it really does affect a lot of, these tech giants and
The EU, not the UN.
sorry, the EU. You're right. I said the UN. That's not even a nation. That's like a congregation of nations. You're right. Sorry.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it might affect the tech giant, but in the end, it's going to affect their employees. It's going to affect, the employees' families by affecting the employees. It's going to affect, their children, their livelihood, because, a lot of them that's their bread and butter. That's how they make their living. That's how they make their money.
Mhm.
And I mean, if Google's losing a lot of revenue, I mean, that's a lot of extra positions that they can't afford to pay. Probably, well, they can afford to pay still, but that they might not want to because they're going to want to bring their profit margins up, which I can understand. But I mean, it's like Brandon said, it's all about business. It's all about money for all these big companies and corporations. So at the end of the day, they're going to do whatever they feel like they need to do. So
Yep. It's a shame. Hopefully, the EU will get that repealed
reconsider.
pretty freaking quick. Um. Yeah. So I think that was about as much as I have knowledge of that situation. You want to get into our next little segment here?
Let's do it.
All right, Greg. So these I do actually have articles ready for. All right. Now, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So this is like weird news, right? So, um, did you know that if you want to make delicious cheese, you should play hip hop music to your cheese?
I'm sorry. What?
You should play hip hop music to your cheese if you want to make it more delicious.
So I should have my cheese listen to Kendrick Lamar in order for it to come out better?
Sure.
Is it like the thumping of the beat that like?
So I guess in Switzerland, I'll put a link down to this below. But in Switzerland, they did a test with like wheels of cheese or whatever, and they played different types of music, like Led Zeppelin, Mozart, and different kind of things, and they were exposed to that type of music for 24 hours over 6 months, and then basically, I guess they found that out of all those cheeses, the ones that they focused the hip hop to the cheese tasted the best.
What the hell? That I don't even understand. That's crazy. That I mean, hey, whatever works, but I just wow. There's got to be some science behind that, maybe, or maybe it's just a placebo. I don't know. There's probably some science behind it.
Yeah, and also I guess taste is
Very
subjective.
subjective. Yeah, very subjective.
So, or no, yeah, subjective.
It's hard to
That's
be
the word.
objective about taste because I mean everybody tastes things differently.
Yeah,
For instance, do you like coconut?
yeah, I love coconut.
I hate coconut. The smell of it, the taste of it, I can't do coconut.
Coconut's great, dude. What are you talking about? You ever had those
Disgusting.
coconut Mexican ice creams, dude?
Yep,
Oh, what are you talking
not a
about, dude?
fan
That is
at
good.
all. I do not like the taste of coconut. But again, it's subjective.
Okay, yeah. So, for your cheese needs, play hip hop towards your cheese.
I recommend Mad City by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
if you want his Pulitzer Prize winning album, the album Damn, which
Damn.
was also just recently approved to be taught as a curriculum in any IB or interbaccalaureate English curriculum. So that's pretty impressive, especially for
I think I did actually read that. Yeah.
for a hip hop artist. I mean, to think about the fact that I don't mean to go off topic here, but to think about no other artist in history that's in hip hop music has ever won a Pulitzer Prize. That's only something that really goes to. It's an honor that really only goes to like jazz artists or even classical artists. It's never been bestowed upon a hip hop artist. And Mr. Duckworth himself even said, this is something that probably should have happened a long time ago. He credits Tupac Shakur, Christopher Wallace as who Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. or Tupac if that's Machiavelli if that's how you know them. Probably should have been, or even Nasir Jones probably was somebody who should have won a Pulitzer Prize way before him, but unfortunately that honor wasn't bestowed upon hip hop until later. But still, that's a pretty impressive feat. Anyway, back to your weird stories.
Okay. All right, and this one's kind of an old story, but I remembered it. So not too long ago, I watched this guy called Simon Whistler. He has like 2 different YouTube channels. He's got biographics where he does like basically mini biography videos on like different figures in history. And one of them I watched was of Timothy McVeigh. You know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Awful human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, to say the least. Anyway, but so I went on like a bunch of different videos, and so one of those things that I came across is Timothy. Okay, so Timothy McVeigh was like onto like the government was like overstepping their bounds, and like he did it to like spite the government or whatever, this and that. Like it's a lot more complicated than what I'm saying, but I'm not trying to talk about Timothy McVeigh. I'm trying to just give a reason. Like, so basically Timothy McVeigh saw what happened at Ruby Hill, I think it's called.
The tank or not the tank situation.
Yeah, where like they went to a cabin in the woods and like killed the kid, the mom,
the daughter. The baby that was in the mother's arms.
And it was like a big old military operation when it
shot.
didn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So like basically that's why Timothy McVeigh, that's what like set him off. Like, okay, he's like, we need to do something about the government. It's getting too big, this and that. And there was a lot of people like that. And so another guy who was like a big anti-government kind of dude, I forget his name, but it happened in Texas. So he got pulled over by a cop, and like I guess him and the cop got into a shuffle or whatever, a scuffle. That's the word. And he bit the cop.
He bit the cop.
He bit the cop, and then ran back to like his little ranch, and like fenced himself in or whatever, and so basically because of the Ruby Hill and then Timothy McVeigh and all these situations that were happening back then in like the 90s.
Yeah.
The government was really. They're having a PR nightmare because of all these mess ups that they were having.
Yeah,
right?
so it's like, dude, what the hell do we do now?
So in Texas, they made the decision, like I think it was like new at the time that they made this decision not to pursue him.
Wow.
So he bit a police officer, and they decided, you know what, we're not gonna get into another standoff like Ruby Hill. We're not gonna do that again. Just trying to get this guy who bit a police officer, right? So this lasted for like 16 years. So basically they were just waiting till the guy had to leave his house again to arrest him. They never went in after him. So he basically never left his house for like 16 years. I don't know if it's still going. I think because I just looked up like a little article before this, and then it said the standoff that lasted 16 years, so it might have ended by now. But this guy was so stubborn. He didn't go anywhere. He lived in his little house, and like it was like a trailer-looking thing on like a little plot of land in Texas. He lived off the land and never left his freaking trailer-looking house for 16 years, and just to like not get arrested. The maximum sentence the judge who said he would have sentenced him if he got arrested, said the maximum I could have sentenced him was 10 years, which I probably would not have sentenced him 10 years. He's imprisoned himself in house arrest for 16 years already. The dude's pretty stupid. Like, come on.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Why?
I mean, because I wouldn't want to go to jail, personally.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, dude, 16 years being stuck in your house, man, that's... I mean, at least you get to watch TV every night and go to bed when you want to and eat what you want to eat for the
That's
most
thinking
part.
you have electricity. If you can't leave your house, how are you going to pay your bills? This is 16 years ago before the internet.
Yeah, what the hell was he doing in there? Did he even step outside to get food? Like, how did he...
He would go outside in, like, his yard or whatever, but since there was, like, no government standoff, like, there was no one out there waiting to, like, shoot him or whatever. He was just stuck in his...
So it was more of, like, if he left the property and went to, like, the store... They
would have got him.
They would have got him. Okay, so that... Man, that's wild.
So he just put himself on house arrest pretty much for 16 years.
I guess. I mean, if you want to be that stubborn, I mean, I don't know. Like, I want to be a little more neutral because I have some differing views than a lot of people. But, I mean, that's something I probably would have just... I'm just going to go to jail. I mean, what am I going to get? Maximum a couple months as opposed to 16 years? Like, I'd rather not be stuck in there without being able to make money and pay my bills because then, you know, I can't watch any TV or can't listen to music. I mean, man, that...
He probably had to poop in a hole because he couldn't pay his water bill.
You got no plumbing. Like, what the hell? Like, how... Dude, I would have just taken the sentence. I mean, honestly, how much could it really have been? Maximum 10 years. I mean, you were locked up 16. I mean...
And the judge was like, I wouldn't even have sentenced him 10 years. Like he got it worse just putting himself in the house.
Yeah, the judge is like, I guess he learned from his mistake.
People are dumb.
I mean,
as
because
heck.
I don't know, like, but why would bite somebody though? I mean, I don't know, like, what was the stop even for? Was it just like a
I don't even know, but
traffic stop?
usually, I'm not saying all the time, usually a traffic stop is not worth getting into a fight with an officer over.
It's really not.
Just take your ticket. If you want to record it, record it. Because sometimes, it's good to record those things because officers can be pretty terrible people. Can be, not always, but if you want to record it, go ahead and record it. Just don't get into like an altercation with the cops because no matter what you do, it's not going to
Chances
end
are
good
you're
for
not
you.
going to win. I mean,
No, you're never going to win.
I mean, physically
Even-
speaking, you're
dude,
not going to win. Those
even if
dudes
the
are
cop,
gonna, yeah,
even
they're
if
gonna
the
hurt
cop, even if you're standing still and then the cop decides to just beat your ass for no reason and you defend yourself, you're the one getting thrown in jail.
you. Yeah.
So it's not even worth it. Don't ever.
It's really not. Like,
Yeah.
I can understand. Some people have certain opinions. I get it. But it's like, dude, don't be stupid. Just, you know what I mean? There's no point in getting your ass beat or getting
Just
possibly
take
even
it.
killed for something as stupid as a ticket, or a traffic
Yeah.
violation. You ran a
Just
stop sign.
Go to court and fight
Like,
it.
come on, man. I'm not going to get killed over running a stop sign. That's
Yeah.
absurd.
But such is life. Sometimes that happens because
Yeah.
life is pretty crappy.
A lot of crazy things, a lot of crazy injustices, but, that's
Such is
for
life.
another discussion.
All right, guys. You got anything else you want to say to the rooftop podcast audience?
Honestly, Brianna, what do I want to say? We should have a catchphrase, like a motto or like a mantra or like
It's like something like,
raise the roof.
I don't, dude, I'm dead. Okay,
Corny.
we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to say or nah?
Well, I do have one thing to say. I know there's not many people that watch this because it's pretty small still. But if you are watching it,
I'm like the only one who ever shares it.
I know, sorry. For those of you who are watching, thank you. You mean the world to us. And if we can like get a list of whoever's watching this now, if this gets blown up, we will pay you 5 cents a month, which is 5 cents you didn't already have for being loyal followers of the Rooftop Podcast.
And that interest will compound.
That interest will compound. Well,
Right.
maybe not interest, but like the principal might compound.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for the Rooftop Podcast.
See you
Have
guys
a
later.
Wonderful week, day, month, whatever. Goodbye.